he was wearing the suit and the mask. And it's very rough. Oh, God. So, Peter gets in a fight and drops Gwen down the clock tower while Peter's fighting the Green Goblin and wins and then saves Gwen. But wait, the web breaks. And then he has to he webs her leg, and then her head hits the ground, and once the web catches her leg, head snap. And then Lily whacked the ground and back and forth. So he just saved her, but it was too late. She was only like a few inches off the ground, and her head hit the ground, and then Theo said, Peter. Oh no, he didn't wipe her leg. He wiped her belly. I'm sorry, I got confused. A lot of things confusing in this film. And so this brings to a really soft, sad moment. And it wants to just be a moment you tearing up with Peter because he realizes the love of his life is gone. And you see he's like, had this really sad, lonely music playing in the background, and it's like you realize, okay, that was the end. No! We got more story! A teaser for the Sinister Six. The Rhino rampaging across Manhattan. Hope his looks all lost. But it gets better. See, Spider-Man was inspired by his Gwen instead of being inspired by his father because of pure luck. And given the whole with great power comes great responsibility thing. And say, I love you. See, and so you see, this is an alternate ending what they put in the film than what they were going to. See, Spider-Man gets inspired by Gwen's graduation speech and then comes back to Spain to save the boy that's sticking out for Spider-Man by wearing Spider-Man's costume. and then Miles Walker wants to kill the shit. His whole game was killing the shit. And Spider-Man says, "You're a brave boy." Well, of course, he's a stupid boy, but brave. Okay, so, Spider and Rhino find quips hello and says, "You want me to come over there so you can kill me?" And he's like, "Yours," the Rhino says. And he says, "There's no place like home." Giving a Wizard of Robertson, and he webs some metal ready to kick Rhino's ass, and it ends. You want to see that Rhino epic battle? Too bad, you fuckers. So, basically, before the end credits happened, the set off of Sinister Six, and Harry's still alive and didn't die, and supposedly that might be on the Electro. This guy in the showers who talked to the Lizard in human form, asked if you told him about the truth about his father, and he said no. And he says no, he didn't. And he says you should leave him alone. And saying you should leave Peter alone. Because Peter's a good kid, blah blah blah. And Peter's best friend Harry is back to normal, and he is asked, "How is it?" Harry says it comes and goes. And so now Harry's going to be part of the Sinister Six, or the Sinister Seven. Yeah, there's more than one version of the Sinister Six. There's the Sinister Seven, the And there's also the Sinister Seven, blah blah. There's tons of names they gave that villain team. So many. And that's the film. And that is the worst out of the bunch, and Spider-Verse is the best out of the bunch. Now there's one more that's in between the best and the worst. It's the Amazing Spider-Man, just titled The Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. Now, this one, it's more clear what his character is. He's basically going from being a frat boy, kind of a selfish vigilante, to a selfish vigilante, to embracing, from a frat boy to a man, and slowly evolving into a man. And by the he becomes the Spider-Man we all know and love from the comics, especially in the last 50 minutes when his life is on the line and he's bleeding to death and mortally wounded. And I guess why the reason why the had him not web the leg up instead of it's not web the leg up earlier, because for dramatic thing reason why the two towers did it, for even though Gandalf's the greatest stealth attire, someone could easily just catch him. He just was his flying foot, and then we reached out to catch him or pull him up or something. It's just used for dramatic sense. So the same goes for this. And so the plot is that Peter Parker families go missing at the age 8, and cut 2 years later, he's now age 17, and he falls in love with the girl Gwen Stacy, and follows her to a lab, but he tells her this only, and he says the reason why he came because he loves science. He came because he loved science, but really is to find out his parents miss things and her, where they are, if they're dead or not. So for some reason, I feel like there's gaps in between there. This feels like there's these gaps in his parents missing. Then Uncle Ben dies because he ran away from home, and his Uncle Ben lets a voice message that Peter finally listens to at the end, saying that he's is Uncle Ben's hero, and he wants him to come home, and he loves him. So, it's very soft, a soft warm moment. But he listens to that at the end when he fully has embraced the me and find out what that means as of Spider-Man to him. And we actually see him make the suits from scraps. And it ends up looking nice and shiny. So, yeah, this happens. He starts making the suit once his unbelly gets gunned down, because it's technically Peter's fault, because he could have stopped the robber and could have stopped the robber from robbing the grocery store, but the grocery store who owns the grocery store was just being a dick to him and robbed his parents who are dead. Yeah. Well, it's true he didn't have enough money to pay for chocolate milk. The guy didn't have to be a complete asshole about it, okay? Both are in the wrong. Peter thinks he can get chocolate milk without having to. He just, oh my god. He was going to pay for chocolate milk. He wanted to pay for chocolate milk, but he didn't have enough money to pay for chocolate milk. Then the guy decides to be a dick about him and bring up his dead parents. So he says, not my policy. Otherwise, not my problem. And the store owner asked to go get that guy, to go get the guy that robbed him. And he says, not my policy, as in not my problem. So his Uncle Ben ends up with instincts trying to grab the gun before the robber did, but the robber rushed in and shot Uncle Ben, and now he's brutally one blind to death. Now Peter wants vengeance, and the man's a wanted man. Oh, but Peter doesn't want to bring him to justice. No, he wants to kill him, you can tell. And beat him to death, probably. Then he remembers the guy, what the guy looked like, and remembers what he had a tattoo. And he saw him, his 10 minutes tattoo on his right arm. That's when he starts making the suit. And when he makes the suit, he's still going night after night, to try and find the right person, because he's on a vendetta. That's the thing, he's not being here, he's literally out for blood. But he's convinced himself that that's the same thing. It means the same thing. And I love when Gwen's father pushed Spider-Man on what he's doing and sheds some light on, and puts the Spider-Man identity, his Peter Spider-Man identity into place, and he realizes the error of his ways, and he starts thinking about it. He has this look like he's starting to think about something. Like it's like you can tell that he's starting to realize he's not really being a hero trying to go. He's just trying to get his Uncle Ben killed. It's just that's just not really heroic. That's not even noble. That's just selfish. He realized. And so when commotion is going on the bridge, after Dr. Kirk Connors, who's being like a father figure to Peter, decides to experiment on himself before he gets fired, and before he gets shut down from Oscorp. So he decides to experiment do the human trials on himself, on his arm, to regrow his arm. So, and he starts having side effects, as in starts turning into a lizard without his rational thinking. And the lizard is taking control and dominating the human half of the mind, as in literally driving him insane and cold-hearted and stuff. So he causes a scene on the Brooklyn Bridge, I think, and we don't know if the guy that he wanted is trying to catch lives or not, but he lives in a deleted scene, and he outsmarts Kirk Connors, and then tranquilizing Kirk Connors, and then he gets his head gets eaten off by Kirk Connors as the lizard. When they're in the, that's through the scene. Now, he reveals his identity to Gwen, that he is Spider-Man and Peter Spider-Man, after webbing her and giving her a little twirl, and then makes out with her, and then he sees commotion on the bridge, and he just goes right into action, heading into danger. Because deep down Peter is a good person, despite all the hate he has built up in his heart. So then, this is when he really starts to take that step forward into becoming Spider-Man. And as he heads to the bridge, he knows what he's got to do. Then he figures out from here on that he realizes what he has to do. He realizes he has to protect the citizen, and as he suits up, and he after saving many lives and saving this kid and giving it to the dad. He gives him closure. It gets him to heal, realizing, because like make him realize what it'd be like if his dad could see him now, that his dad would be proud of him. So that's when he decides to quit the whole vigilante game, become a legit hero, and that's why he like says to himself, Spider-Man. He says to him, so he says it to this father of the kid when he asks who he is. He said Spider-Man, and he goes swinging off and goes in the room and looking at the mask, realizing, starting to realize this, starting to have slowly realizing who he is, and so, and so yeah, so yeah, then he talks to Glenn after he talks to Glenn's father and warn him about Dr. Connors, how he's dangerous and how he's the person that was on the bridge. He's been using the as DM, and he thinks somehow it's like having a negative side effect. He's the whole situation, but leave out the part he's fighting because he's not believed in by Gwen's father first, but then he says do some investigating on Kirk Connors because he realized that Peter Boyd might be telling the truth because how serious he sounded. And then he but the police are more concerned about the vigilante and Spider-Man than the actual lizard thing that's actually committing more harm than Spider-Man, and that's actually committing harm and hurting innocent life. While Spider-Man says, well, he was at first trying to just have on his own friend out to avenge his Uncle Ben's killer. He's slowly turning to a hero, saying a change with him. So yeah, he's going through this whole transformation into a hero, into a vigilante, and I think that's what this whole story is. The untold story is. It's not about like him. The untold story wasn't him. I don't think ever about him. Well, looking for his Uncle Ben's killer. I mean that would be private, but that the untold story wasn't him looking for his Uncle Ben's killer and getting vengeance, because he did that in the first Spider-Man film from 2004. I mean 2003. I mean 2002. Fuck. And he did that in pretty much every Spider-Man origin stories like that. And this stuff, some better than done. All of this, some just do awful. It's 2002 Spider-Man. But I think what the untold story is like, it tells the story that's never been brought to the extreme. How Spider-Man goes to being a vigilante and beyond a vendetta to become an actual real hero and being selfless. Selfless, I mean. And it does it well in 3 acts. It's just that, like, okay, this is where I'm going. Here's the thing. I think he should have acknowledged who he is, his real name, in the 3rd act. When he's getting choked by the lizard. His superhero name. And now I feel like the whole, once he acknowledges, it's you boost on and tears you up and stuff, and warms your heart, and but then it doesn't get as good after I guess it slowly loses its investment in pace and momentum once after he acknowledges that what his name is, that he is Spider-Man. I mean, he still grows through this change. However, I feel like after that scene, it's more focused on, like, cinematic action than a really good, telling a really good personal story about Spider-Man, about Peter Parker as Spider-Man, what that means to him. So, yes. And then this whole lizard, and he finds out and it was good. It was seems because I see so much potential, and not even the things could have fixed this movie. I think this film should have been more edited down because it's like I feel like there's certain action scenes that should have been taken out of them. Okay, the action scene, but not the scene with the Spider-Man Cobb and him getting his identity reveal from Gwen's dad, and then he actually lets Spider-Man go, and Peter gets shot, and seeing that a bunch of construction workers help him because this construction worker, who's a construction worker, is his dad, and he helped save his kid early on in the film. I actually thought that was a nice scene, and I really like that scene because it shows Peter's character attempting to come full circle and come through and showing Peter's growth and how he can also inspire people as Spider-Man. So, and I guess that part is like maybe the most hated in the film for some reason, when it really should be the fact that this film feels like it's an hour cut it down of the film. It feels like this film would have been better. Should have more of those small moments of building up Peter into the vigilante and into the hero. From into the vigilante to the hero. It felt like it could have had more of that build up, and I think so that's the untold story. They did the untold story. But they just didn't do it well enough. I felt like it felt rushed. The untold story. Okay. Peter saves today, but Connor gets locked up, and Peter reverses engineers the constant day that instead of turning everyone to visit, it creates everyone and turns them all into humans, including Dr. Connors. And by the price of pay is Gwen's dad is mortally wounded, and he has to stay away from his daughter so nothing bad happens to her, and he promised. Then Gwen figures out the dad's his promise he made to his dad, and explains why they're broken up, where they can't be together. And he just says he's sorry, Gwen. So, and I like the part also that he liked the part when he actually like the part when Aunt May says, "As the one thing that Peter is good." Anyone that has a problem that can talk to her. It was a pretty heartwarming part, and that's when Peter decides to light him up more after that pet talk and be more happy and he's late to class again, and I gave the Amazing Spider-Man 2 a 5 out of 10, as in its average is mediocre at best. It has a lot of good elements, just like Spider-Verse, but nothing. It doesn't feel emotionally. I'm not emotionally invested in it enough. And this Amazing Spider-Man ends with him laying in class and doing a nod on when Peter Parker was mocked in Spider-Man 2 by there's a subtle reference because the teachers decides to say, "Now, who am I?" And he cuts this, this is when Peter delivers line to going about secrets and says, yeah, but some of those are the best kind. Acknowledging that he loves being Spider-Man. And it cuts to Peter Parker as Spider-Man is swinging into action, going to chase down the bad guys, and that's Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, at the end credits, like 12 minutes after the end credits, you have a little clip hinting at the future where the Amazing Spider-Man sequels are going to go, but never went. There's the Amazing after 2. So Doc Connors gets a visit from from prison, asks if he told the truth about his father, and he said no, and he says, good, I'll have some fun with him. And Connors says, you should leave him alone, and he just disappears from the room. Creepy. Anyway, I would say all 3 of these films have awesome elements, but they all feel very cluttered compared to what they feel more like action movies than character movies about characters and telling a story of a change that a character is going through. I just feel like there's too much action and not enough heart and humor in any 3 of these, or clear enough what the story, or clear enough vision what the story should be, or that the story doesn't flow naturally enough and fluidly enough, and because there's like too much shit in it, you know, and all